Hi everyone, my name is Palina, and I'm just in love with tarot tube, and it's such a joyful experience to start making videos because it is the only space in the internet where everything feels so, I don't even know how to call it, old school, relaxed, low brow, I don't know, but this exhilarating feeling of just being excited about something, seeing something fun, and feeling like I want to drop my take on it too, and just sitting in front of the camera, not even in front of the camera because I'm ill and God, nobody wants to see that. I don't want to see that while editing, but I can do this on my desk. It is crazy. It is crazy in the best possible way. So today, it's just me doing a big 3 tarot tag by Frieda from Frieda Chronicles. That was brought back to life by Mac from Rose High Ritual. I have an Oracle of the Radiant Sun, and I already cataloged through it and picked the cards that have any relation to the signs I have in my big 3. So I have Sun in Taurus, Moon in Pisces, and my rising sign is Sagittarius. I don't really know a lot about astrology, but I enjoy putting this lens into my readings a lot. It's fun, and I can't say that I really have a grasp on each sign. So I thought the cards from the Oracle can be a great starting point, you know, to have some keywords and something to go back to when I feel too chaotic in my analysis of my big 3. I think I'm gonna close the window and we're gonna start. So, Sun in Taurus. These are not Sun. I think I'm gonna bring you a bit closer. Where is it gonna be the best? Here, maybe? Sun and Taurus. Well, these are just all the Tauruses, but Sun is acquisition. We also have resistance, exaltation. Okay, I dropped you too close. Romance, status, orientation, and defense. Yeah, like this. I like that Taurus is ruled by Venus, and it is earthy Venus, so it is about luxury and comfort and just sensuality. About, I imagine, like, you know, like this motion when I think about earthy Venus. And I decided to do this tag in this way of bringing you 2 tags. So the first one will be how this placement feels for me, like how I feel living this placement. And then I'm going to show you the second tag, which would be more about how I work with this energy, with this side of myself, you could say. So our first deck for my Sun in Taurus is going to be Tarot of the Vampyres. I started working with this deck last year. I had it first as an app, and now I have it also physically. And I started modding it. I've done an awful job And my kata really just wasn't cooperating at all, and I had to make the biggest radius possible. But yeah, I think I prefer borderless, and I admit I need to get a cutter. So this project is kind of on pause, but we have most of the deck untouched. This one is very, very sensual. It is very dark, and that is how Earth feels to me. It feels like a black soil, like something you can push your fingers through, and then you can go deep, and it can kind of almost suck you in. And I love that it gives me this feeling. It is very voluptuous, I guess. The characters in the cards are always moving. I love their poses, and I love how he works with the body of them, and with the body of tarot. And we all know this deck. I didn't really feel connected to the aesthetic, although we can talk about having a very specific aesthetic as also being maybe not necessarily Taurus, but Venus thing, you know. And aesthetic is important to me. I love the drama of it. I love the guidebook of it, because we all know how good the guidebook is. It's legendary, and it is what really pulled me toward buying this deck. And actually, I'm very happy that I have the app, because in the app, for every card, you also have a poem, a little verse that he made. Who is the author of the deck? I don't really remember. But the deep analysis he makes of each card, of each symbol on the card, and he makes you go slow. He makes you slow down and be patient and really go through it. He makes you look for the symbols of the sign and of the planet on each card, like find them, because they're not in the one designated spot on each of them. And it feels very rich. It feels very full of just things. Do you remember that funny video of Kate Hudson, where she's like, I like things. That's me. I like things. So yeah, I am not a fan of big spreads. I have a very, I don't know, small attention span maybe. I can't really comprehend lots of cards, and this is the deck where I feel comfortable just doing one card, 2 cards, 3 cards, and thinking them through very, very slowly. And he's dedicated to the theme, to the aesthetic, to the drama. I don't really hear people talking about drama when we talk about Taurus, but I think Venus being connected, okay, I think Venus is very dramatic, and I feel very dramatic. This deck feels very full of nature, of the background, of all these like thorns, and the world around each of these characters, like it's very packed, and it feels as important as they are. Even though we look at the characters and we analyze like what's happening to them, they feel big and important, and the world around them, everything around them, feels as big, as important, as packed with meaning, with depth, with texture, with like just fully being present in the world they're in. And I think that is the most Taurus experience I am connected with. I can't say I really felt connected to Taurus for most of my life, but I started kind of thinking, okay, maybe I am a Taurus, when I connected it with the idea of just slow thing, because I am a very slow person, and I don't even mean it. Maybe it's my rising Sag, who knows, but I don't seem slow, I don't talk slow, I don't think slow, but I move through things very, very slowly. And I guess it's the best way to put it. How I work with it is actually very different. And I think it's important to find a key that helps you different parts of yourself. So this is Druidcraft. It is very Taurus deck, I think. It was the first one I thought about. I mean, how will Worthington... Is it Will Worthington? Is it his name? I hope it is. The way he draws nature, the way he draws the sky, the plants, everything. Just this apples, the bread, the fabrics. Oh, I do feel like I love fabrics. I think that's what she said. The greens, the blues, the reds, just all these little flowers. I adore this deck. The air, the grass, the stones, the characters, everything is just breathing with life force. And it is so humane, or it is so human. I guess there is difference between these words. It is so physical. It is so easy at the same time. And I love the guidebook too. I love that it talks about sexuality a lot. I like that it talks about people as if we are not only, spiritual beings, but physical beings. And I love that it also makes me slow down. I feel very comfortable in my own pace when I'm working with this deck. I feel like we're on the same page. We're moving very slowly together. And it is such a deep connection. Like, that is why I have a very deep connection with this deck, I feel like. This is the first deck that, not even that the deck changed my relationship with the tarot, but I think I was changing as a tarot reader. I was ready to start trying new things, and this was the perfect deck to, start doing it. Because this is the deck that I started doing monthly readings with. I do a very, very easy spread by tarot diagnosis. I realize that I go back to the spreads when I am like planning my seasons, that it helps me remember time, that it helps me, it helps me work with time, which is very weird. I have a weird relationship with time, and this deck really started changing it. I had a hard time thinking about rituals. I didn't really understand like what ritual means, why everyone talks about rituals, why it is important, considered important. But going back to this deck each month, doing the same thing with it each month, it became a ritual, and as I understand now, and it gave me this anchor. It helped me change my relationship with certain holidays and the idea of holidays. So yeah, it's a good friend, and it's a good partner in crime, if you may say so. If I do say so myself. Next one is my moon in Pisces. So for Pisces we have inspiration, seduction, submission, vision, loss, escape. Don't see anything, guys. And empathy. This one was very hard to pick a deck that feels like Moon in Pisces. So I decided to show you Honey and Lavender Tarot. It is a new one in my collection, and I use it in my new project. So I plan on making a video about it kind of soon, but that is why it's in specific order. I did it differently before, right? So what being a moon in Pisces means to me, how does it feel to me? I am very emotional, and I heard that most people feel more connected to their moon sign rather than their sun sign, at least at first, because moon is where we are comfortable. It is what is comfortable to us. It is where we feel at home. Like it is that wave that we resonate with and we understand it. I feel very deeply. I feel very wide, I would call it myself. Like my emotions feel, it's like soup. It takes a lot of practice to discriminate each flavor and each descriptor. It's all kind of very hazy, very abstract, and very, very all-encompassing. Like for most of my life, I felt like I really identified with the High Priestess and with the Moon cards when I especially first studied tarot. Like they were my favorite arcanas, because especially that side of High Priestess that is depicted on the Blood Moon Tarot, where you don't, like, you're so deep in there that you are not necessarily in the physical realm. My inner life was always richer than my like physical life, my events life. But like what's going on inside, ooh, like there's all shades of everything. So this escapist, disassociating tendencies, I do recognize a lot of it in myself, and sometimes it's very good. Like sometimes I love having this type of experience and of feeling. I love how deep it is, how rich it is, how meaningful, like everything is full of meaning, of flavors, of emotion, and I just love, going there and being there all the time. Like this haziness is what I mean when I talk about feeling my moon in Pisces. Emotional truth is, or definitely was, much more important to me than ethics. Yeah, I said it. Ethics, being right, being just, like especially when we're talking not like global things, not politics, not like systematic things, but how people live their life. Yeah, like I can get behind every way of feeling. Like I can understand what draws you in. If you tell me what draws you in, I will come aboard. I will be like, yeah, sure, I get it. I think that's the central part of it. Emotions and how I feel about things, it almost dissolves the things itself, the things themselves. And I think that's how being a Pisces moon feels to me. So it is kind of a weird thing. I love the contrast between the colors of the cards themselves and this like yellow. Yeah. So when I started tarot, I wanted to understand the soup. I wanted to be able to not swim in the soup, not live in the soup, but kind of figure it out a bit, and being able to work with different parts and do something about it and live a bit more presently in the body, in the Taurus side of things. And I don't know, like my theory is everyone's first deck is their moon deck. That's definitely the truth for me, because my first deck is Legend, the Arthurian Tarot. I love it to death. It has the same thing going on in terms of hazy watercolor aesthetics. It tells you the story, and Honey and Lavender Tarot also has this like recurring characters, and it has like the whole world built in there. Being Pisces moon really feels like this song by Taylor Swift, I Hate It Here. Like, I hate it here, so I'll go to Lunar Valleys of my mind. That is what Honey Lavender Tarot is. That is what being a Pisces moon is to me. This deck feels melancholic. It feels very watery. So, like, it kind of lives in the same world as Druidcraft, like it is Arthurian theme, so it's kind of the same time, kind of the same nature and the same lore, but it is very, very watery. And this King of Cups, this how do you say, like Fisher King, he is Pisces, and I really did identify with him. I don't always work with this deck. I've been doing tarot for, it's gonna be 7 years in 2026, so of course I, you know, like it was my only deck for first year and a half, and then I kind of ventured in different directions, and I almost thought, not about giving it away necessarily, but that maybe I don't really need this deck anymore, that I kind of outgrown it. My skills of navigating my emotions and regulating my emotions, they are much higher, and just I have them now. let's put it this way, and they are more like I have a wide variety of tools when I need to regulate my emotions now than I had when I just first started and I bought this deck. But still, let me tell you this, every time shit really hits the fan, when I'm in very, very raw space, vulnerable space, when I'm in the soup and there's only soup and I don't even like don't want to leave it, or don't necessarily have the ability to just, like, the soup is so big, the soup is everywhere, and like when there's this time of life when everything you encounter turns you into soup, that's when I go back to this deck, and it holds my hand every single time. I pulled this card once when I was in the middle of my depressive episode. It was pretty heavy, pretty hard, and I pulled this card. That's where Fisher King gets his healing. I cried so hard, and this card is always connected to this experience for me. But now I say I cried, and I just have this song by Army of Lovers. I cry, I pray, I do. I cry, I pray, I do. I cry, I pray, I do. I'm crucified, crucified by my Savior. You know what? It doesn't have anything to do with the theme of the video, but I have Supernova Tarot just like here, and it reminds me so much of Army of Flowers. Like, is it not? Do you see it? Like, do you see it? Do you see him? I love it. So yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna part with this deck. I love it a lot. It's my first one, and it really needs a trim. It is very beaten up. It's very dirty. I try to, when you use this like rough paper type of thing to kind of clean it up, it worked a bit, but it's not perfect. So yeah, I saw Thea from Garden Goddess Tarot kind of renewing her first Rider-Waite Smith just by cutting it, modding it, and I was like, yeah, I should do that. So that is the deck that helps me work with my moon in Pisces, and like we love it for that. The last one is my rising sign in Sagittarius. Like my rising sign is Sagittarius. Enthusiasm, domination, discovery, fulfillment, optimism, flirtation, and principle. My Jupiter is also in Sagittarius, and I do feel like Jupiter a lot, especially if you consider Pisces to be a sign of Jupiter too. I think my rising sign, I didn't really think about that part of me before I came to know about ascendant at all. But when I heard that I have an ascendant in Sagittarius and like what Sagittarius is, I immediately was like, yep, I do feel this loud, like boastful, colorful, not necessarily funny, but humor and being humorous is very important to me. The deck that feels like Sagittarius is my tarot de Carlotydes, I guess you pronounce that way. This deck it looks pretty digestible. It is so non-digestible to me. There is so much going on in each card that I feel overwhelmed by it a lot of the time, especially because of this style of the illustration. It looks so freely, so tongue-in-cheek, so not serious. I can tell you, it is very serious. It can read you to filth. Like, let's look at this Queen of Swords. I didn't hear a lot of people talk about this deck, but I find it very sharp and very opinionated. Like, do you see this? Like, that's not nice washed at all. It can be very, like, pinchy. It's very smart. It's very, like, look how his looks almost transparent in this cloak, but at the same time not transparent at all. And I'm going to show you the Temperance because there is similar effect there, but she is transparent, so you see the difference between these cards. She uses symbols in such a refreshing way. I love this garden with skulls, and it can be not macabre, but it shows you things how they are. And I feel like what Sagittarius and being Sagittarius rising means to me is being curious, is being like very curious about like the whole world, the entirety of being human, and having like being interested in mythology, in pop culture. There is no lowbrow and highbrow in this deck. Like, it works with everything. Like, everything you encounter is deserving of your attention. It has its own like wisdom or something in it, and it is deserving of initiating, investigating, just being fully there for the time being, like super invested. All this shit about like Sagittarius traveling all the time, I can't say that about myself at all, but like the journey of the mind and traveling in this way, yeah, it is very Sagittarius to me. And like it has a very bold, interesting, specific voice. It's not afraid of itself, of not being understood. It doesn't have a guidebook, like at all. What do you mean? What do you mean? I need the guidebook. I hate when there is no guidebook. Like it's just like, no, give me all the information you have. I want to know everything. I want to go there. The only thing I will say that it is very feminine, and Sagittarius is not necessarily. Why do I always say necessarily in this video? It's like the 20th time I said that. This deck doesn't feel, gender neutral at all, or masculine at all. But at the same time, I am femme. I'm very femme. So, that's my Sagittarius experience. So do with it what you want to. So the project that I mentioned, the main thing I want to accomplish is finally having a guidebook for this deck. And just the visual style of it. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel melancholic. It doesn't feel like, it feels very not joyful, but like life and everything you encounter in life is a joyous experience. Like just being there with this funny, idiotic, like horses that are made to look like unicorns. And I even think that this one is not a horse at all. It looks more like a dog. So like it's pretty absurd. It's and I love the different cultures in it, and I love how chaotic in a way it is. Like it pulls from everywhere, and it's just like, yeah, that's me. That's how we roll, folks. It is one of its own, and like people love it. I think it's like this one, Ljubanka, they are like crowd favorites all the time. So yeah, that's how being Sagittarius feels to me. But how do I work with this energy? And I thought about it. I was kind of on the fence about it, but working with this energy, it does feel like working with Thoth to me. I was such a skeptic about Thoth because of Crowley, and then I saw my colleague. She had Lover's card from Thoth Tarot as her phone screen, and I was like, what is that? Like, it's so beautiful. And she's like, it's Thoth. And I was like, what? And last year I did a deep dive with Thoth, and it started as a like drop 78 challenge basically, but it took me 11 months to work with it, and I connected it to different decks. It became a whole thing, and now I'm doing kind of the same type of study with the Carlotydes. I decided to let myself just go with the flow, with every association I have, no matter how connected to the true meaning of the card it is. I love that Thoth is kind of abstract. I love how it works with color. I like how it doesn't really do any judgy type of stuff. Like, you can say anything you want about Crowley, and you can judge him all you want, but when I work with these cards, I admire how kind of like fuck it mentality he definitely had, like, for better or for worse. And I love that Lady Frieda Harris was definitely in the same type of boat. Like, she even wanted to do them without faces at all. Like, I don't know if that would be what I really love how it looks like. I'm gonna put it on the screen. Who cares? It helped me go out of my own way, in the sense of card meanings, in the sense of just reading intuitively and letting myself just work with everything I know about the world. Not what I know about the tarot, not what I would know about the symbols, or, like, I don't know, Egypt mythology, but just with everything. Like, this one is connected to, you know, I read a fanfiction one time about Enjolras and Grantaire from Les Miserables. She said in her worst French accent. And Enjolras was a DJ in that fanfic, and he had this atrocious yellow t-shirt, and I remember it so vividly for some reason. And this card is, like, forever linked with that scene from that one fanfic. Like, yeah, I stand by that. I think it's even, you can hear it in the way I speak, in the way I talk about this deck. Like, it makes me kind of cunty. It makes me very energetic. It makes me bold, and it makes me eclectic. It brings it all to the table, and I love it about working with Thoth. The freedom of it is so delicious. So yeah, I love this deck, and when I want to work with something and be, you know, there are like different gears in my head when I think about, especially like hard, complex things in life. Complex situations and dynamics, when there are, like, I'm feeling emotional, I'm feeling like this way, that way, but at the same time, that's not what important in the long run. Like, if we're gonna solve this thing, I want to think about it in a very broad terms. And truth be told, I don't care about a lot of stuff. Like, just, there are a lot of concepts and ideas of how things should be that I just don't really care about. And, like, let's address that. When I want to address that, that's my guy. That's my guy. I know Mag said that she that Thoth is a Scorpio deck for her, and yeah, it's not emotional for me, but it is very fiery for me. So, you know, it is something for everyone. That's all. Finally, I'm done talking about these decks and feeling like I forgot every English word in existence. So yeah, thanks again to Mag and to Krista and to everyone who made the responses, because, ooh, like, it helps so much to hear other people talk about the signs, to show decks, to illustrate how they imagine these signs to be. I love Tarot Magpie series about you know, like tarot decks for each season, sign season, and I'm waiting for the Pisces one. Yeah, I'm very glad I'm wearing my rings in this one. I miss them, being ill and all that. I don't wear rings when I'm at home. So yeah, bye!